Hello, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 153. Corona Chan is my waifu. By the way, apparently we used the name last week when I called it, what was it, a Hacker Boogaloo. Apparently that was also the name of episode 2.
Was it like the one guy pointed that out to you, or did you figure that
I
out?
figured it out because I was like, I thought, did I use that title before? Because I like the running joke, something, something, to Electric Boogaloo. And I used it last week because of the gun rights march. But then it wasn't really even a march. I'm not sure what you consider it. Gun rights demonstration.
A gathering.
A rally.
Yeah,
Rally
rally.
is a good term.
Yeah.
But apparently I'd used it previously as well. But I'm pretty sure I haven't used this week's title before.
Corona Chan is my waifu.
Yeah, it's a little new.
Yeah. I do like
A little
the meme going around that, if we could rename coronavirus to... crap, what is it?
Well, apparently its official name isn't coronavirus.
Malort.
No,
Coronavirus is like a grouping of them, a family of viruses. This is a specific one that happens to belong to the corona family. But anyway,
imported to China from Mexico.
Well, because who remembers SARS? SARS is a coronavirus too. It's the same family, so it's like SARS 2.0 almost. Except a little worse, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Kung Fu. It rhymed with Kung Fu, whatever it was.
I actually like, because the leader of China looks like Winnie the Pooh, someone started calling it Winnie the Flu.
Oh,
I like
funny.
that.
I think I put this in the show. No, I think we were talking about it after the show. But University of Minnesota student that lives in the county where the coronavirus was happening. He got put in prison for making those jokes. It's like, oh, okay.
That's sad.
It's like, well,
Yeah,
he's probably safer in there than anything.
I got a whole thread of that I've been posting of Corona Chan memes. So now I'm coming across some that I just can't post because they're just like, even for me, they're getting a little too sexual.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a couple of them. Yeah. They're definitely going that way. And you threw that one up that was like Asian women in 2019 or 2018, right? And then Asian women today.
Yeah, what it was the reaction of that one guy. You've seen that shaved head black guy that has a really happy expression?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Expression. And the title was Hot Asian Girls in Your Area, 2019, 2020. The idea being if they have a fever and not hot and it's 2020, you may want to avoid them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, man. We actually found out that there's a person that has coronavirus that is in quarantine, not like 15 to 30 minutes from where I live. So that's...
Did you go visit him, take him flowers?
I think I went and I shipped him a pack of Corona Light.
Nice. Well, why light?
That was the only thing that I could buy.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you are 14, so that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. After going through the chain and getting the various cuts of the $100 that I gave to this guy that said he could get it for me and wouldn't say nothing.
I think I know that guy.
I'm terrible at capitalism. Quoting John Strand every time he's on a webcast. Oh my god.
Nice.
Speaking of which, I should actually be getting back my Backdoors and Breachers deck soon.
What do you mean back? Oh,
Huh?
like getting backdoors and breaches, not getting backdoors and breaches.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
I ordered 3 decks.
You bought them?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, people pay for them? I'm sorry, John. I'm just joking. I know. If you go to like any conference, they have them there. But if
they
it's
go
not,
out in like 5 minutes. Like I'm.
yeah. Now, granted, anybody listening, if you do go to Wild West, that's Black Hills conference. They will have just enough to cover everybody. I mean, they have a ton there. But any other conference they're at, get in line quick because they will be gone.
They have 2 spots or 2 locations now. There's one in San Diego and one in
Deadwood. Yeah, they're going to.
Unfortunately, one of them is happening the same, or at least overlaps with Hoosier HackerCon.
Yeah, that'll be the San Diego one.
Oh, I thought it was the other one, but okay.
Shouldn't be. Oh wait, when's Hoosier HackerCon?
25th to the 27th of September.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, it'll be Wild West that'll interfere with it. Because I think that one they were looking for March to April, somewhere in that range to do it in San Diego.
Yeah, Deadwood might be, but
might be what?
Might overlap. Hang on.
Yeah, it will, because they actually moved Wild West up like 1 month. Because last year it was like snowing and sleeting whenever I was driving. Because you have to fly around the city.
So it doesn't overlap. It actually works out really well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So it's like back to back. So if you're going to Wild West Hacking Fest, whichever location is happening Tuesday the 22nd till Friday the 25th, just take a flight to Louisville and come hang out with us.
There you go.
we could like 2 times. We could just double up on cons that week. That's a full week of con.
Nice.
We inadvertently just create Hacker Summer Camp 2.0,
or Hacker Autumn 1.0.
Hackers Fall,
or Native American, Native American SummerCon.
Nice.
Hacker Solstice.
Well, because
December.
Because what they used to say about autumn or fall being that Native American word for summer.
I'm not familiar with that. Oh, and Justin, yes. So this is for the Denver chapter, OWASP. One of my buddies is out there. I think he leads it, but he came up to me and was like, "Hey, I saved this for you." So I said, "Heck yeah, I'll take one." So I'm an honorary member.
I'm actually wearing my Black Hills shirt right now. I just realized that.
There you go. So has everybody had a good week?
So far, so good.
Yeah, man. Enjoying my new apartment.
Okay. Yeah, how's that new apartment going?
Hey, pretty good. I'm eating food at the same time I'm talking to you, though.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Nice.
I'm having fun with my apartment complex.
Yeah.
They took one look at my insurance policy that I've already had for renter's insurance, and they're like, "Oh, can you add this thing to it?" I'm like, "Why?"
Wow. So they actually make you have an insurance policy?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, I've
never run into
since
that.
like 2006.
Oh
I think
yeah.
it was the last time I rented, but yeah, we didn't have to have that back then.
Oh yeah. You definitely had to. Well, at least around here, you definitely do have to have a renter's policy, because in case you might accidentally decide to cook at 3 a.m. and burn down the apartment building, they want to recoup their costs.
Yeah, but they're still going to have insurance on their establishment that they own, though, right?
I also think since I live in Kansas, it's Kansas law that you have to have it.
As a renter to protect you and not try to sue the apartment owners.
Yeah, so that I can't sue them, or I can still get my stuff back. Because if I lose, like fire happens, all my stuff burns up, like the whole building catches fire. There's like at the least 6 or 7 different people that live in this building that I'm in. And that's also coupling in like all the appliances and stuff like that. I don't think that goes under my possessions, but it's a way for me to get my half the time I have to fix them anyway, so start banging on stuff.
You sound like you really need to talk this through. That it's a really deep emotional scar.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been looking around for new multi-tools and other tools that aren't multi-tools. Like I ordered a couple of out-the-front automatic knives, but I need to find the SOG I have around here, and I have a nice Leatherman around here at the house someplace, but I have no idea where to put it. I got this thing called, I think it's called SOG Reactor, and I can understand why they discontinued it, because it's really kind of a crappy little multi-tool.
Nice.
If you get a saw, get the power lock. I think they call it. It's like there's like power something. It's they're actually built for like EOD use, but they're really good otherwise.
Yeah, I have a SOG I think called something like that, but I don't know where the hell I would put it.
Yeah, that's what I carry.
Yeah, my primary carry
is one little Tupperware thing or Tupperware-like thing.
I actually don't have mine on me right now. I worked from home, so didn't grab it. I've just got like an electrician's knife, so it's got like wire splitters on it. I'm like, yeah, this is okay.
So what Cappy's actually saying is, since he worked from home, he's not wearing pants. That's a translation of that. Hey, no need to stand up. You can stay right where you're at. Thank you.
Just jerk up real quick. And we're banned.
Man, the words that might get you banned. The fact that they were doing speech to text and recognize that. Like, I don't know if you ever listen to anything from Tim Pool's, but he frequently has to censor certain words that he says to keep from causing problems.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't really matter the context, just the word itself. Like, instead of using a certain name, he'll say a certain German leader during the 30s and 40s. He'll say that kind of thing.
Oh, really? So you can't even just like say the name?
Apparently, according to Tim.
Huh.
Yeah, because you lose monetization.
I mean, but if you were saying in a historical context, not like outright
calling, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a couple of history channels that I watch and some alternate history channels that I watch, and they'll go through all these different scenarios, and they can't even say like anything. They'll say just like the Germans, and that is it.
So, do you, like, for alternative history channels, do you consider Ancient Aliens to be alternative history?
I have no comment on that for fear of having like 20 different people show up at my door.
I'm pretty sure that's a yes.
No, because I think
aliens were here. You know, there's a whole generation who's gonna think that shit's real because it's on the History Channel.
Oh gosh, it's gonna be like people who think it's like
people who any sort of news media.
Yeah, that's a group I can't get my head around. Well, besides the people constantly whining about cultural appropriation, the ones that I think that are not quite as bad as them, but pretty bad. I still don't understand the flat earthers, because I don't understand where's the money in people hiding. If the earth was flat, where's the money in hiding that?
Oh, the money's over on the other side of the disc.
It's on the flip side. Yeah, the Earth is just a coin.
That's where the big X is. You know,
some conspiracies I get because I can get what the motivation is, but I don't see what the motivation would be for thousands of scientists and astronauts and NASA scientists and European Space Station scientists and so forth to lie about it.
And don't forget the moon's also spherical, you know.
No, it's just flat. We just can't see the other side. If it were to ever turn, you know, it'd just be really paper thin. Obviously.
It did my other personal favorite about it is when one flat earther claims that, you know, all the other planets are round except for the Earth,
Why?
because
I mean, why would just the Earth be
I
flat
know.
and not everything else? So, are they saying that the sun is flat too?
No, it's
Oh,
round. It's a sphere.
interesting. And have they never flown it up? Like today, I watched SpaceX. You know, they had a liftoff today, so I watched that live. That was pretty cool. It got up to what was it, 12,000 kilometers an hour? Some crazy craziness, you know. But yeah, as it flies away, hey, look, you see the roundness of the Earth developing behind it. But then they showed it entering orbit, and apparently it'll keep that 12. I think it was 12,000 kilometers as it continues to orbit the Earth. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
but yeah, just seeing that, and then they like zoom back off because they had a camera on the outside, like showing the boosters, like almost the entire time. They switched views a couple times, but then they also went back to Cape Canaveral and showed the, I don't know, what do they call that initial, stage one booster, whatever that's called, coming back down
yeah.
and landing on its own. That was the first time I actually saw that live, so that was pretty sweet.
I watched the last live launch that they did, and it was the first time that they did, and I think it was a rerun though, but they were rerunning it constantly, and I was at work, but they simultaneously landed 2 stage 1 boosters at the same time on 2 different
cool.
platforms.
Nice.
Yeah, so they actually lost feed from the video when it first landed.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, did they crash? And then it popped back up and it was just sitting there and everyone was like, yeah!
Nice.
I'm like, I don't care. I feel really cool. That's so cool to me.
I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed in SpaceX.
Why? Because you can't travel to the moon yet?
No, no. They honestly, because they've been releasing those that new satellite constellation, and it's been ruining astrophotography for a while now.
So
I thought that
are
was
you
funny.
a big astrotopographist?
Astronomer
Yes.
is the word you're looking for.
I like my made up word more.
Astrolotopologist.
No, astrotopographist. I like that.
Astrotopographist.
Yeah.
Actually, that would probably be a thing because you would send, or you'd have a massive, basically like a camera lens that would collect in all the different light, and then you could take in all the very minute changes in light and point it at like Mars or something, and you could actually map the topography that way at certain points in time.
Jack, is that what you do?
No, I drive out to the middle of nowhere with my telescope and hook up my camera to it, and I just let it lens for about X amount of exposure. But most of the time you'll see the SpaceX constellations in there, and it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, just like straight lines through your pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they were. They're going to be adding another 130, 137, something like that, satellites.
They want to get it to a point so it's basically a fully geosynchronous network of satellites that surrounds the Earth to provide reliable satellite internet. Which I'm thinking, as a pen tester, I get to hack space.
Space hacker.
Yeah, you'd be a space hacker. But
It's like-
SpaceX, Death Star. I feel like there's going to be a merge at some point here. Yeah.
Could be the precursor to a couple of really cool projects, though. Which
You guys see the Space Force logo? How it's pretty much a ripoff of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Well, there's a longer history to that, man.
I was gonna say, it's like, all right, one nerd said something, another nerd.
Well, the thing is, the Space Force logo is based on, what is it, the Air Force Space Command logo, which, according to some sources I was reading, I think was originally created in like 1982. So, and if you go back to the Star Trek logo, if you kind of tilt the original NASA logo from 1958 on its side, it still has that little bit of an arrow-shaped swoop in it. So in some ways, you could see the Star Trek logo being ripped off from NASA's logo, then the Air Force one being ripped off from Star Trek, and then Space Force being ripped off from the Air Force Space Command.
Because that's where it splintered off from.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ripping.
But yeah, people blaming Trump for ripping that off. I'm pretty sure Trump didn't have a whole lot to do with the design decision.
Right, right.
Can you imagine if he did?
That would be a totally different
we want you to
logo.
improve this logo here.
I mean,
It's a giant. No, it'd be a giant golden spaceship, like an old cartoon rocket from like Flash Gordon.
it would be
all
orange.
gold. It'd be all gold, and it would just have this massive T up the side of it. That's what it would look
Oh
like.
no, I still want to see like a comb over at the top of the rocket for some reason.
I'm thinking like a space wall with a bunch of sad green people on the other side.
that could do too.
That's the next thing. We're gonna wall off the Earth.
Well, we're starting with a mesh. We'll see where we take it from there.
That would be pretty cool to have in the future, but it would suck for any astronomers or hobbyists.
What, an actual wall?
No.
We're kind of
Space
unintentionally building one as we speak, my understanding, because of space junk.
Yeah.
One of the Highlander movies, they essentially build a giant wall around the Earth to block out sun stuff.
Highlander 2 does not exist.
What?
Okay.
Get rid of our imagination. Highlander 2 was the movie that happened in, but
Oh,
Highlander 2 is such a terrible movie, and I feel so bad for the director because things got taken out of his hands because I think Argentina had a mass inflation at the time of production. So the insurance company took it over and tried to make a movie they thought would be more marketable.
Yeah.
And let's put it this way: the guy who directed it, Russell Mulcahy, actually walked out of his own premiere.
whoa, that is unfortunate.
And he made the first Highlander, which was really good. He made The Shadow in the early '90s, which was not a bad comic book movie for the time. He did one of the Resident Evil films, which was a decent one. It's an action popcorn film. But the stuff I've seen from him has been pretty good. So I don't blame him for Highlander 2 sucking.
Now, did you know one of the guys who did some of the Highlander stuff, it looked like?
Well, directly, no. I knew a guy who was a big fan who eventually ended up working with Elizabeth Grayson and Adrian Paul.
Okay.
Adrian Paul being Duncan MacLeod from the TV show, and Elizabeth Grayson being in The Raven, which sucked.
Wait,
but was also a
Duncan
recurring
MacLeod of the
character
Clan
in
MacLeod?
Highlander TV.
Ah, gotcha.
I went to college with John Biley,
Gotcha.
and unfortunately he is no longer with us.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I did like the picture of him with a sword, though. That was cool. Exactly, Justin. A wireless mesh network. That's what we're talking about. Oh, yeah.
All of those satellites are encrypted with WEP.
No.
We're trying to bring the aliens in. So we're back to ancient aliens now. Caprico's alternative history.
I think that's called predictions at this point.
Predictions. No, that's The Simpsons.
They are pretty damn good at that, though.
Or my academic career.
I still can't believe the Simpsons got Trump being president. I would have never fucking got that.
Yeah, that was weird. Every time that I watch, that I see like everyone's like, "Oh, they predicted this," and then I look back, I'm like, you know what? I remember this happening, and then I just was not fazed by it at all. I was like, "Good guess."
Yeah, but they have a very high guess rate.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah,
The one that
gets a time traveler. That's why.
The one that really freaks me out is there was a equation that Homer writes out in one episode when he visits the kids' schools, and it ended up being the answer to this massive equation that we haven't known how to solve for like 200 years. And I'm like,
He pulled the same thing with Futurama on the episode where their body switching. Everybody's switching into everybody else's bodies. They did a mathematical formula to extrapolate how many people you would have to actually go through to get everybody back in the same body again. And
yeah, it's like,
but it's real math they did there, and they did like the whole theorem, and it was submitted to science to like magazines that do this shit, and they were like, "This is amazing work." It's like as if it were somebody who did it who was in the field, you know?
Wow.
yeah, someone in the academia or world.
Well, we got Frankie Boy on the cast now, so we can continue with the show notes, I think.
Or start.
Because we added a whole lot to them. Thanks, man.
Yeah, Frank, this is like 90% you, so have at it.
90% me. Awesome.
Yes.
Somebody keeps editing the show notes while I'm looking at them, so it's very confusing.
Yes.
All right.
Putting them in an appropriate order.
Damn it. I
Actually
liked my
putting
order.
ransomware under ransomware.
You took my ransomware and you moved it elsewhere. All right. So the first article is ransomware linked to Iran targets industrial control systems. So an Israeli cybersecurity firm said that a new strain of ransomware was created by Iran and has the ability to lock up or delete industrial control systems. I don't know how you can delete an industrial control system, but apparently you can. It's like, we've deleted your computers.
F disk.
So
/ dev 0.
this ransomware is called Snake, and it encrypts stuff like every other ransomware does, but it also removes all copies of the infected stations from the infected stations, preventing the victim from recovering the encrypted files. Well, isn't that the way they all work? Except it deletes the original file and then puts the encrypted file. Anyway, apparently this one is different somehow in that regard.
Just deletes shadow copies too, so that's not new.
Most of them turn that off too, which is like a
Well,
telltale sign something's happening.
Yeah, delete and then turn it off.
So, Snake was recently discovered, and it has searched for. It has a search program built in, and it's looked for General Electric company. I'm reading this wrong, but I'm totally reading this wrong. Let me read it word for word. Snake, which was recently discovered, searches for hundreds of specific programs, including many industrial processes that belong to General Electric Company, in order to terminate them and allow it to encrypt the files. So this is just targets ICS, which is pretty neat. I don't think have you guys heard of stuff that specifically targets ICS?
Not
Stuxnet.
often. Yeah. Stuxnet, but we do see it from time to time. Usually it's going to be going after a large manufacturer, something very specific, because GE has their hand in everything. Mm-hmm. So we could be talking nuclear, manufacturing, just about anything that kind of supports the infrastructure.
Well, that kind of brings me to the next article. Ryuk ransomware recently hit at least 5 oil and gas facilities in what appears to be targeted attacks, forcing them to switch to manual operations. Definitely targeted. What do you guys think? It was just they found some low-hanging fruit, or you guys think it was targeted?
It's hard to say without actually knowing which specific companies, knowing what their security posture looks like. If it was low-hanging fruit, that's very unfortunate, given the industry.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't low, I don't expect they had a crazy amount of stuff pointing towards the internet. So I'm guessing it probably was targeted. But without knowing what their security posture looks like, I can't say that 100% for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if they hit the SCADA systems, then yeah, I mean, those things should have been VLANed off and not internet facing. But hey,
Yeah.
people are fucking idiots.
Yeah. And that comes down to what does that security posture look like? Like, how mature are you? Have you ACL'd and VLANed everything off? Are you using separate force in some instances? And where are you in kind of that process? Do you have a roadmap lined out to get to where you need to be from a security perspective? Can your security uh, program grow as the company grows? You know, and
And
these are
all
all things that companies have to think about.
and also, do you have the budget to implement? Do you have the budget backing of the C-suite to implement those changes? Because sometimes a lot of that shit's hampered by that, where
Correct.
where they'll forego the security measures in the sake of growth, and then say we'll fix it later, but never bother to go around to fixing it later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Budget is definitely a thing. And that's why I always advise pen testing. Um, help utilize that pen test as justification for budget, because the only other way is you get live attacked.
Yeah,
So,
and that's one place I'm dealing with now. They got live fire took.
yeah, and it is going to cost a lot less to do your yearly pen test. And not just somebody who's going to run a freaking Nessus or Qualis scan on you, an actual pen test. Find out where the real weaknesses are, not where you haven't been patching stuff. Now, granted, if you haven't been patching, you need to get your patching program up to par, and first do that, and then really start diving into the pen test. Because if you're not patching, a pen tester is going to get straight in, and the value, you're not going to get the full value out of the information. It's
And
once you
when
are.
it comes to patching, that's not just operating system patches. You also got to patch the third-party programs you use.
Oh yeah, Citrix. But yeah, third-party programs, network side, because nobody network side likes to patch anything. They love seeing that their network gear has been up and running for 3.5 years straight, and they haven't had any blip. And what? Unfortunately, that's the wrong mindset. Need to be patching
Well,
network gear too.
Please.
well, I mean, also if that if that same network equipment isn't getting lifecycle replaced on a regular schedule, you're eventually going to have. Sure, you're going to have high availability on your network, but you're also going to have very vulnerable systems.
So some companies, they have the SLAs that are like 3 nines, and like, we can't reboot them servers ever because we have to pay some customers some money.
Um, well, I mean, you never get 100% uptime, so shit happens.
And two, when is the best time of the year to attack an environment, or at least most environments?
Christmas.
December.
Exactly. Why?
Everyone,
'Cause
skeleton
nobody's
crew.
there.
Skeleton crew, as well as what I think Frank just said, is that systems have to stay up, because that's when all that accounts receivable is happening. They need and this isn't just retail, this is everybody. They need all that money coming in so they can have year-end close, because most companies are still running fiscal year. January, December. But yeah, that end of December, that's whenever you see that massive uptick in attempts against companies, because they know this, from a hacking perspective. Yeah.
They have done the
next
research
thing we
on
have
their
in our
company.
show notes, I think you put it in here. It's I miss beaches. Emotet uses coronavirus for Japanese targets.
Yeah, so that was me
I
just
didn't put it in here.
Yeah, that was me. Threw it in here. So Emotet is typically their entry point is fishing, so this is something that I would
Dead
do.
silence. This is like when I'm on a date.
What?
Nobody's talking.
Caprico's talking.
Are you sure you're not muted, or you didn't mute your headset?
You're hearing me talk right now.
Yes.
Yes. As well as Caprico was talking.
He was?
Yes.
Oh, it's pulling that shit where I can't hear somebody in the channel again. What the fuck? I'll be right
Oh,
back.
okay. I did do a couple of refreshes because I realized that I was going through my headset mic and not my nice mic.
I can hear you now. I was not able to hear you before for some reason, Caprica.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, so Emotet started targeting specifically people in Japan, including Gifu, Osaka, and Tottori.
Osaka.
With a with a coronavirus scare to infect Japanese targets. So they've kind of pivoted a lot. And since their main entry point is always fishing, it's really easy to pivot into that kind of stuff. Especially if you're targeting like, hey, this is what's happening in the news. Hey, here's what's going on. They've used Greta Thunberg before. They've done Christmas giveaways. They've done Halloween parties, as mentioned in this article that I posted in the show notes. So yeah, and then it works, which is why we're hearing about it.
Yep. It's good stuff.
So yeah, just thought I'd throw that one in there because I also wanted to say the I miss beaches for every Corona commercial ever.
I do miss beaches.
This sounds like something up my alley.
Yes. Yeah, we actually had some of this. Frank, yeah, who threw this one on? Because we've had this happen in the past. The main one I can think of was a lot of home routers that were publicly accessible. Somebody was going in and patching all those public or home routers. So
yeah, the Asus ZenBook router that had an open anon FTP that went straight out to the internet.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a new thing. I mean, other cybercrime groups have actually gone out and like taken over other people's CNCs and then uninstalled their malware and installed their own on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Or they're having a few vigilantes who've gone out there and patched them too. I've actually seen ISPs do this back in the days when CNC was done through IRC. I've seen them route certain IRC networks to their own internal IRC networks and then hit you with a bunch of like uninstall commands.
Yeah.
Back in the day, dude, I saw that like 4 months ago. I'm not even kidding.
Well, I mean, it would surprise me. I remember seeing this first like in like 2002, 3, back when it was starting to become a thing more.
What's sad is the thing that I was following and investigating, that IRC had to shut down because of it.
Wow.
I was like, oh, shit.
What did I send you this week, Cappy? That a guy made a proof of concept that he was using something for command and control.
I'm looking. There's a bunch of other stuff for you. Built up a little C2 plus agent using Discord to communicate between the two. Really happy with how this turned out. Discord is useful for something.
Exactly.
Hey,
finally, there is a good use for Discord.
I use it for video games groups, but that's pretty much it.
But yeah, so there's now a publicly. I think he posted source code though, but there is proof of concept for being able to use Discord now as a command and control, which is interesting.
Well, anything that has a bot, really. I mean, TeamSpeak server or anything that you can write to interact with a server.
Yeah.
You can make it do some fun stuff.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. So did we actually talk about the uninstalling a botnet? Okay.
Not yet.
All right. So a malware analyst believe someone has hijacked the 4 Pikes botnet from its creator and is sabotaging its operations by alerting users they've been infected, which is pretty funny. And so the long and short of this article, which I'm not going to read, is that the guy goes, you get like a pop up on your computer. It says, you need to install antivirus. Your computer was infected, and that scares the shit out of some people. Maybe they'll actually install antivirus, but that's the long and short of it. You want actually want to go deeper into this and read the article?
And then the bit set will change by 1. The hash will change, and the antivirus won't be able to detect it anymore.
Dude, if you change
Well, not if it's silence, because silence is powered by AI.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
my favorite thing was multi. How much money does Docker make? Hang on 1 second. Docker.
According to them, not
revenue.
enough.
According to that, wow. Just how much?
Too much.
Docker make money? Okay. The company reported less than $10 million in 2015 when the valuation reached $1 billion. In early 2017, $25 million to $50 million annually. And now they're still getting funding. They're still VC backed. Okay.
I mean,
anyway,
that kind of
aside.
justifies the adage of there's a sucker born every minute, I guess.
Yeah, like they took 92 million last year. That's weird. Or 2 years ago. The fun thing about that is there were a couple of bots that I followed that were changing 1 0-byte file that got through any sort of, hey, this is malware.
That's polymorphic right there, man.
Oh, that's not polymorphic. That's just your shit.
Yeah, but there are a ton of polymorphic, binaries out there, though. Because there's a lot that'll even drop on systems. Look to see what the local antivirus is. Scan to look and see what hashes the antivirus has and can detect upon. And if they find that there's the hash for their primary executable will be detected, then they morph over and just change 1 bit. So it's a new hash. Bring down the executable and done. You're right past all the AB.
My favorite thing would be if it wouldn't break anything, just add new line to everything.
Yeah.
Null night.
Nop. It's not even a nop sled. I'm just getting past antivirus.
Yeah.
Nop. We call it the Pac-Man. Nop.
So
that's right.
So with this thing we were talking about, they actually they think that it might have been a rival who was jealous. So that does make a little sense. They also say that the developer of the botnet was extremely lazy and careless.
Sorry.
So,
I mean, most of the time that's going to be more like on the vigilante side, because if it's a rival, they're just going to go in, since they already had access to the box, clear the rival off and throw their own stuff on, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody who, like one of you guys says, more on the vigilante side, who's trying to get it off and then advise the owner of the box, hey, get something on here because you were infected. So I don't agree that it was a rival. There's no real gain for them, and that's the entire point of most hacking groups doing it, is monetary.
Yeah.
What was the drop or the payload in this? Do we know? Or the one that they took over?
It says it was an IRC based C2, so that narrows it down a little bit.
Okay. I'm just looking to see.
It's called PHORPIEX.
4pix.
I can't say it. 4pix.
Or 5pix.
4
Yeah,
pikes.
let me just look. Let me just look at this.
It's a spam
extortion. Yeah, so because you can send SMTP over IRC. That makes sense.
It was probably somebody
Yeah.
who got spammed by that box and got pissed off about
You
it.
know what they were doing? Looked in the headers.
Look, went down a rabbit hole.
Yep.
Wrote an anti-botnet.
Yeah, Caprico knows nothing about that.
I know nothing.
Okay,
You
next
are
up.
not Jon Snow.
And Frank, just a FYI on LabCorp, I did swap out the link because the other one was a subscription site.
Oh,
So-
I have unpaywall on my computer, so it just gets me into a shit ton of those.
Yeah, so
didn't
I threw a
enjoy it.
TechCrunch article about it on here, so everybody, even if they don't have unpaywall on there, they can access.
Good
Goody.
plugin, by the way. You should get that. It was their website. It exposed thousands of medical documents, like test results containing sensitive health information. It's the second incident in this year. They had 7.7 million patients affected by a credit card breach of a third-party payment processor. So it's not really them if it's the third-party payment processor. I mean, it's their records, but it's not like their fault, right?
But I mean, it's still them. They granted them permission to be on their network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get slapped by HIPAA.
Yeah.
Again.
Anyway, I wonder if they were doing like a SOC 2 report, if it would say who are the liability lies for that shit right there. Like, if it's the payment processor has to accept the liability for that, or if it's them.
They never told us. They never told us we had to be compliant.
I love the one comment on this article. Why does this continue? Where is the governance and oversight? Data process oversight must be a high priority. Ah! It's like, yeah, give me money first.
Yeah.
Money.
You can't have data oversight if you're still running on Windows 2000 and Windows 2003 and don't know where all your shit is. You got to get the basic shit down first.
Yep.
But who's going to do the basic shit? People that take money.
Yeah. Get a good consultant in there who's
Or
reputable. Get a virtual CISO in. Get somebody that knows what they're doing. If you don't already have a plan, to actually get a good plan in place for your company to move forward.
Yep.
Yeah. So first their third-party payment processor gets hit and leaks their data. Then their own website gets breached and leaks more data. They're really having a bad year.
Yeah, they're pretty leaky. They need some band-aids.
I wonder if there's a class action suit. I mean, you can't get blood from a stone, but blood work. LabCorp. That didn't work. That joke was bad.
You can't if you squeeze hard enough.
All right. That's pretty much all that article is about there. Who wants to read All Your Mine Are Mine?
Yeah, so I put this one in. This one actually just made me laugh this week. Mine hackers are back. I didn't even know they were a thing. Hijack NFL teams' social accounts. So these guys went on a spree of just going in and targeting some high-profile individuals. They also got some random people that have the same name as celebrities.
That's great.
Like, there was one that was like Will Smith, and I'm like, how much do you want to bet they tried to go after Will Smith and they got some random dude? So at least in the NFL team's perspective, or NFL in general, Dallas Cowboys, their Instagram and Facebook were hacked. Buffalo Bills Instagram and Facebook were hacked. Houston Texans Facebook was hacked. Minnesota Vikings Instagram and Facebook were hacked. Kansas City Chiefs Twitter was hacked. Green Bay Packers Twitter and Facebook. And lo and behold, it goes all the way up the chain to the NFL's Twitter and Facebook.
Stop Stop making your password the Vikings rock or the NFL rocks. Just choose something else.
It was probably each of their chants. So ours would have been skull. So our, so they basically just went in and just put their logo up on all of the websites, or all of the social media sites, which I thought was fun. The day before, the hackers had accessed the Twitter accounts of the Chicago Bears, publishing a message for all 1.8 million followers to see. The team has a new owner, and he paid $1, yes, $1 to get it. Armine calmed everybody in a subsequent tweet that revealed the prank.
Nice.
So they put
There
out.
had to be something more profitable they could have done with that kind of access to all those people.
It's funny. So they welcomed their new owner, Turkey Al-Sheikh. I was like, okay. They also said to the Pride of Detroit, hey, while you're still hacked, Chicago Bears, trade us Khalil Mack for a 6th rounder. Twitter is a binding contract, which they retweeted and quoted them saying, done for $1. Other places that also got hit are the Arizona Cardinals, Cleveland Browns, Denver Broncos, Indianapolis Colts, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco
Holy
49ers,
crap.
and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All of their Twitters hacked. Get slapped. They also went across a couple other people. Next in line were the following Twitter accounts of Will Smith, who is the CEO of Foo VR, who has 118,000 followers. Bobby Burke, celebrity interior designer and Queer Eye star, 432,000 followers. Enrique Hernandez, the second baseman for the LA Dodgers. Matt Raub, or I hope I'm saying that right, director and producer and writer. And then David Moss was a YouTuber, which I'm like, okay. They're probably like, hey, let's see what happens if I do this. So,
You think it was a phishing thing? Like
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
This is straight up just someone fished. I mean, a little bit of OSIN on a Sunday night, and then fish some people. It counts by Monday.
Right, and with those and with those teams that all got their Twitters taken down, I know there's going to be a bunch of openings for social media managers.
Well, you think, oh, why don't they two-factor it? But usually those accounts are shared through like amongst a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, it's
right,
You
but
can't really two-factor it, and that right there, that's big security.
Live streaming is on.
We're back.
All right, someone in the chat, let us know if we're back or not.
I don't know.
Multi-factor. I'm just saying multi-factor. So text is still a multi-factor, but I'm not saying it's good multi-factor. You could do a a Google Voice phone number, and then
forward that
have
phone to whoever's
that
on call.
to whoever is on the call tree.
But does Twitter support that? As far as I know, they only support text.
Yeah, that would be text. You can still text a Google phone number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Google Voice does use text.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I use two-factor for that's linked to a Google Voice number.
Yeah. So that could be possible. Not saying it's a good solution, but it could be there.
But still, you'd have to worry about the password for that account getting out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Before we move on, I didn't throw it on the show notes, but FYI, Microsoft did briefly leak 250 million customer support records. FYI.
Open container.
Yep. Our good buddy Bob Tachenko discovered it as usual, and they were able to quickly get it shut down. But it was up and accessible for I think 2 to 3 days. So 250 million customer support records going back to 2005.
Wow, why are they holding on to that much?
Why not? they have Azure. They can store it pretty cheap now.
Oh,
right,
man.
and then also depending on depending on their depending on what ticketing system, you can do research and historical data.
Yeah, this Caprico guy keeps calling me, and I found out he doesn't even run on Windows. He's got a freaking Linux system.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't get those calls anymore.
Okay,
So
Watch
before
after the show, someone's gonna try.
there you go. So,
Before we move on to the next thing, I just wanted to touch on something briefly. I saw today that Microsoft, I didn't put it in the show notes, but CompTIA decided to lobby against right to repair, which is kind of ironic considering that CompTIA, they have the A+ certification that teaches people how to repair
yeah,
things.
Well, CompTIA, let's face it, 90% of their customers are people like me, government employees or government contractors, because hey, we have to kiss the fucking cinnamon ring of CompTIA in order to get admin credentials. Just is what it is. Do you think they really give a fuck about the A+? if they got suckers who are willing to pay on a 3-year basis.
I get it's corporate interest. It just really seems ironic that the organization that gives the test that teaches you how to repair, well, not doesn't teach you to repair, but it shows you know how to repair a computer. They're lobbying against the ability to repair a computer. It's like, what the, what? There's a disconnect there somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I mean, CompTIA just wants to use themselves as a Swiss Army knife, and whoever is in, whoever are the corporate interest involved in CompTIA now, yeah, they probably don't give a fuck, and they just want to use the name. That hey, this nonprofit does goods. It's just like how Microsoft's a member of the Linux Foundation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the new Edge browser's based upon Chromium, which is based upon Linux. So
Wait,
All
how
your
is
browsers
Chromium
belong to us.
based on Linux? It's an open source project, my understanding, but how
Yeah.
is it based on Linux?
yeah, but low level, it's still based off the Linux structures and everything.
Oh no! I think you got Chromium OS mixed up with Chromium the browser.
The framework. Yeah.
Well,
So there's the
yeah.
Chromium. There's the Chromium framework, which is written in
Go.
Go. Yeah. I was thinking Go or Swift, and then I had a brain fart.
You're right.
And I'm like, Swift is iOS, so no.
And now IE's trying, or Edge is trying to get onto Linux. So they have a Linux build now.
They're being edgy.
Yeah, it's like who in Linux land would ever install that?
Exactly.
Oh,
I know guys that would happily learn how to use the browser functions in Emacs before they use Edge on Linux.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And all the Emacs guys were like, "Well, I do that every single day." It's like, yeah, because you learned how to do it. I did not. Don't wanna. Emacs
Well,
is
you
a
go-
beast I don't want to conquer yet.
well, you're gonna learn today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, common sense is going to be like, Cappy's a noob. It's like, yeah, I know. I say it often.
But that's
Nice.
okay. You're only 12. You're not supposed to know everything.
I'm the Greta Thunberg of
you
InfoSec.
regress 2 years since you've been on this cast.
I've
you know,
aged
for
like 2
1 hour.
years. I felt like I aged like 2 years when I first started because I started in Q4. But
There you go.
oh my god, beard came in real nice afterwards.
Nice.
All right, let's stop talking about me. Let's talk about show notes.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. So I don't know where these people get their statistics, but according to them, more than half of the U.S. organizations have faced a successful phishing or ransomware attack in 2019. More than half.
Yeah, I've heard 33%, like 1 out of every 3 companies. I have heard people saying that 1 out of half in 2020 will. But yeah, I am curious where they got their stats.
Yeah. Well, it's their 2020 State of the Fish report. It highlights user fishing awareness, vulnerability, and resilience trends across the globe by analyzing 9 million suspicious emails and 50 million simulated phishing attacks sent by Proofpoint customers over the last year, as well as a survey of 600 IT security leaders and 3,500 employees. Well, that's a good sample size. Surely that represents everybody in every company in the U.S.
Where's my business stats book? No, I'm actually like.
He's breaking out the business stats book again. This
Did
is
you
the
say-
second time this has happened.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
see it.
what? Really? Their sample set was 3,500 employees, and
That
they're trying
makes-
to claim.
No, that actually makes sense, but your standard deviation is going to be interesting to say the least.
I mean, that could have been one company.
Yes, but
Based on analyzing this one company, we've determined that half of all companies have been hacked.
Yeah, I wish they would have gone a little
it's
deeper.
50-50. It's the equivalent of you looking outside and saying it might rain today.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually like 46%.
So that's this article. I pretty much picked this article because it feeds into the next two articles pretty well.
Oh, we see. That was that low-hanging fruit to really entice us.
Clickbait.
Yes, clickbait.
So the average ransomware demand for Revel ransomware infection is $260,000, but the average cost to recover from ransomware is a little bit over $84,000. So they are way above market price for everybody else. They're like, everyone else get 84? No, I want 3 times that.
Yeah, but too, you have to look at potentially who they're targeting also. Whenever you're looking at average cost to recover for ransomware, you're looking at small, SMBs all the way to enterprise, where enterprise is paid over, 100 or over $1 million for recovery. Company I've worked with in the past, they paid 700,000 range to recover. So that's the average. But our evil may be targeting primarily larger business.
Well, if you look at that figure that they have, that's a little farther down the tree there, or not tree. Wow, been looking at top too much today. This is the skew, and you've got. I think I know which MSP that was, and that was very big. And that's sitting around like 4.25 million on that graph from what I can read. Although that is very small font. Give me zoom.
Control
All right.
plus.
Yeah. Control scroll. Yeah, and like childcare centers, Thailand and Indonesia got hit last year back in November. Another MSSP, another Canadian-based MSP, and then whoever these people are, the bigger companies, they're going to charge more because they know what their revenue base is. So
I also think it's cool the way they got this data by sinkholing the DNS and then intercepting the traffic and seeing what's going back and forth.
Mm-hmm. But then they're not saying, is this what's paid or what was hey, this is what we're charging?
Demand.
Demand, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That is very interesting. Yeah, because, negotiation's going to take place. It's going to end up costing less than the upfront demand. But, yeah, so we can definitely see here. Well, even the majority are, I'd say the average is over 500,000. We're getting in the 400,000 range, with kind of 3/4 to the right.
There's a couple 100,000. There's a few 100,000s in here over the past or because, and this is only showing Q3 up to the start of Q4.
Oh,
So-
I was looking at 500, thinking that was 500,000. So that's actual $500.
No. So I'm thinking it's in. Wait,
Is it in thousands?
I
Yeah,
think it's in
because
thousands.
the 260,000 then.
Give me the freaking link. All right, hang on a second. If this redirects to ZNet, it does. Source your stuff.
ZNet.
You can't just say where it's from. All right, sorry.
Who, me?
Journalism
I
angst
don't
aside.
do that. I just think I click the linky. I share the linky.
Yeah, I would just like. Oh, it's linked here. Okay, found it.
Oh, okay. Like down below that, the next picture there shows some of the individuals. So 4,000 USD, 3 million, 1.5 million, 1. So yeah, it is in thousands.
Yeah, they're making some serious dough with this botnet.
All right, so
Yeah.
I found the actual report. It did ask me in Dutch on whether or not I should accept cookies or not.
Did you say no?
Don't you block them by default? What's the matter with you?
A lot of things. So they were able to. It actually goes a little bit more in depth on where they're getting a lot of their stuff. Unique count of crypt hash. I'm trying to find that picture. So here we go. It's cut off on this one too. God damn.
Impact on the Netherlands.
Yeah. Well, the KPN is
Crazy Dutch.
Yeah, KPN's Dutch. Yeah, I think that's in thousands is real.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yep. Fun.
So the next article we've got pretty much says that the price has doubled over the last year to recover from a ransomware attack, and it's not just because they're charging more money. It's because you also have to get more hardware replacements and like repair costs, lost revenue, incident damage to the victim brand.
Well, as
And-
well as our ransomware is becoming more complex too. A year, 2, 3 years ago, they weren't really touching backups and targeting them. Now, backups are a major target for ransomware.
That's why you should have off-site backup as well as everything else.
And I really,
grab the tape.
well, that's exactly what I was going to say. As much as I hate to say it, tape rotation is now an effective backup, and we're probably going to see it start to come into play again in a large scale way here soon.
They still sell tape backups?
Oh yeah, we're up to what? Darren, do you know LTO?
I think it's
8?
4 or 5.
Oh, is
I
it
think-
4
I
or
think-
5?
I know 4 is not for a while. I think 5 is a new one, but it's still pretty expensive. It's still really low enterprise, but it has like immense capacity. I think like several terabytes per tape. It's big.
Yeah, LTO 5, 1.5 terabyte, 3 terabyte. Yeah, you can do some big stuff there.
Cool.
There's also this is just cost to recover, right? It's not going into like lost revenue. Because if you average that out, that's going to be within like millions of dollars. It takes one big firm to get hit, and that's making millions of dollars a day, and that's already like way past it.
Well, it depends too upon the business. There's quite a few businesses I've read that, if and when they do get hit with ransomware, a lot of them have gone to pen and paper. Business for the most part kept going, just at a slower rate. Couldn't fulfill
Mhm.
orders, blah blah blah, as quickly. But they were, you know, pen and paper, writing down orders, talking to people on the phone. Done with email for a while, and tried to keep the profit stream moving.
New York recently passed not they didn't pass it, but it's up for legislation. Two different laws relating to not if you pay the ransomware, it's going to be against the law essentially.
Yes, I did read government side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was only for government. That wasn't for like individual businesses. But yeah, and that's actually encouraging. I would kind of like to see uh, all government kind of go down that road, whether it be local all the way up to federal. Be
Well, I mean, federal is not gonna pay somebody's is not gonna pay a malware ransom.
oh no, I mean I
They're just
wouldn't
gonna
expect them to, but we see a lot of cities, state level that do.
right. I mean, if your municipality is paying a ransom, you're fucked because they clearly didn't have backups in place.
Correct. Yep.
Or they did have backups in place and they got encrypted.
They were in place on the same network, next to the same machine, on the same machine,
With the same password and username. Or they used backup.
and
Backup,
Jim
backup.
Jim at admin's password was password123.
No, he had an exclamation point at the end of it. Don't forget.
Oh, my apologies. One more
No,
character.
it was the NFL rocks. Exclamation point.
Skull Vikings.
Skull Vikings.
No, it was. Are you ready for some football?
Probably.
Boogity boogity boogity.
All right.
That would actually be a really long password.
Yes, it would.
All right. Now, in the course of using casual conversation, have any of you ever used the word portends?
No.
No, not really.
So what I'm trying to get trouble figuring out why the author of the next article decided to include that word in the title. But why the Travelex incident portends the changing nature of ransomware.
Because they were mansplaining us.
Yeah, using these big words, you know.
Yeah.
Oh god, the funny part about you guys saying that. Look at the ad that's right there.
I have AdBlock installed, so I can't.
No, on my screen.
Jerry. Oh, nice.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have your window open. Okay, do
It's
it again.
okay. It says women in security meetup.
Uh,
I'm like,
So
oh,
again,
oof.
stop mansplaining me.
all right. Like most New Year's resolutions, most go off the rails by February. The hackers behind the recent Travelex attack didn't wait that long to sound the GDPR and privacy alarms and bring into light new implications around transparency and timely notifications of data breaches. Plagued by sophisticated hands-on keyboard ransomware attack, Travelex initially declared their global system outage as a maintenance downtime via a message on their website. 1 week later, they replaced the initial message with the press release announcing a cyber attack as of December 31st.
Oh, they were definitely maintaining something.
Oh, yes. Even though as of January 27th, they were still down. In a press release dated January 7th, the company explained that their investigation confirmed that the ransomware attack was Revel, or Sodino. I can't say it.
Sodinokibi.
Sodinokibi. The press release inferred that the attack occurred just a week before the public was notified. However, other reports have suggested the firm was compromised for as long as 6 months, and that hackers were demanding a $4.6 million ransom to recover and preserve the data from further exposure and resale on the dark web.
It was pounds, but I don't know. At that point, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's at least the same amount, if not more.
Um,
The British pound is worth, I think, like $1.10. So
yeah, something like that.
various sources have suggested that Travelex failed to patch its Pulse Secure VPN server. I've used that in production, and I hate that piece of software until early November 2019, and that was despite repeated warnings flagged by the U.S. CISA and the U.S. National Security Agency and the UK's National Cybersecurity Center in October 2019 that the vulnerabilities were being targeted and exploited by Revel. This incident confirms that ransomware attacks have transitioned from opportunistic nuisance to something more sinister. It demonstrates the destructive capability of semantic ransomware designed to cripple large organizations and not just exploit small sums of cryptocurrency from individuals. That's the way it was. I mean, they used to not ask that much. Now they're asking a shit ton, especially in targeted attacks. They want a lot of money. The era of transactional crime is over. We now live in an age of targeted strikes seeking large sums of money to the tune of 7 figures. But money is not the only thing at risk. The firm's reputation, not to mention the client's operations. Since the incident took place, more than a dozen UK banks reported that their online foreign currency services went down as a result. The attackers threatened Travelex with the exposure and wholesale dumping of stolen data if the firm failed to pay the extortion fee. Maybe that's the point. It's no longer simplistic ransomware, but big fish extortion. It's a new game, and one that is no longer returning files, but rather preventing exposure of information that compromises the reputation of the victim. The company resorted to pen and paper. We were talking about that. Critical PII information like credit cards, date of birth, and other sensitive information are at risk of exposure. It seems criminals have been honing and socializing their tactics, and now it's about paying extortion fees and heading down the oft avoided slippery slope of negotiating with terrorists. The criminals have them in check. Your move, ICO and Travelex. The system outage at Travelex was masked with a planned maintenance message, which was understandable on the part of Travelex, but it raises questions as to the ethics around this choice. By masking the real event, this prevents customers and consumers from being able to take preventative actions and protective actions, such as putting holds on their credit cards, setting up credit monitoring with their financial institution, or even changing their passwords, because you should not be using the same password everywhere. Time is the essence. Time is of the essence, and knowledge is power. I love the way she writes this article. It's pretty funny. It's like just the way the English is, the words in the order. It's very old school. This New Year's event exposes evolved issues brought on by targeted ransomware attacks. Should perms? No, firms pay the ransom to avoid exposure of personal consumer data? Is it acceptable for firms to mask attacks with system outages notices? That's a word. Rather than breach notifications. How will the ICO enforce decisions around timely notification, obfuscation, and preservation of data privacy through extortion fees? We shall see in the coming year.
Um,
Dun dun dun.
Elegance Engine. Corona Chan may be your wife, but that's Adrian's girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, I also called it Waifu. I googled it up and I found a Waifu. Let me see.
Is
What are
that
you
like
talking about?
Is that a web application firewall, Chan? Sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Urban Dictionary as WAIFU.
Wife? That's like wife in Japanese, isn't it?
Oh,
slang.
Elegance was changing it from wife to waifu. So Corona-chan is my waifu, not yours. Gotcha.
Wait, isn't this from Swordfish?
We can fight over it. We both try to cough up a lung.
There you go.
Who's Corona-chan? I'm so confused.
Don't worry about it.
Look
We'll
on
get
my
to it
feed,
later.
I've been posting tons of memes. Someone basically made an anime girl style personification of that particular virus. Kind of like they also did. You ever heard of Ebola-chan?
No.
They've been doing it for a while. Let's just put it that way.
I found the picture on Know Your Meme. Corona-chan.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm where everybody else was 5 minutes ago. Aren't I special? All right.
Okay, where are we at? Vulnerable stuff?
No, or did we
Vulnerable
go through
stuff.
data breaches soared by 17% already?
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay, who threw data breaches soared by 17% in 2019?
I don't think that was me. If it was, I had a link there at one point.
Yeah, it's on the next page. Market Watch.
Oh, you mean things go on other pages when they're at the bottom of the page?
Yeah, that does happen from time to time.
We're not in Vim anymore. It's Google Docs.
All right. I don't think I put this here, but I'm going to read it anyway because, it's fairly short. And,
Not line by line, though.
yeah,
'Cause it's long.
I'm going to skim this one. Data breaches were on the rise last year, but there's a silver lining. Data breaches up 17%. Yada, yada, yada. Other things. It would appear in 2018, yada, yada, yada. I suck at this article skimming because I have not read this before.
Yeah, so it looks like the silver lining that they're trying to put out is there's been roughly a 50% drop in the number of overall records exposed in 2019 and a 65% reduction from more than 471 million in 2018 to under 165 million in 2019. Granted, wasn't 2018... No, 2018 wasn't Equifax. That was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the 2018 Marriott breach, during which the hospitality company announced that there had been an unauthorized access on up to 383 million records, including passport numbers and payment card information, skewed the sensitive records data significantly. So one breach kind of just throws that all into a little bit of a perspective. But I mean, are we still getting companies hacked?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the interesting thing, well, at least I find interesting, is down towards the bottom. I think this actually includes lost profits and revenue also. So the average total cost of data breach for U.S. businesses is nearly $8.2 million.
Is that why so many go out of business when they've been hit?
Well, some who can't endure it, yes. The highest of any country sampled, according to 2019 analyst-sponsored analysis sponsored by IBM Security and conducted by the Ponemon Institute. Average cost per lost record is $242. So that's per record, with healthcare taking the largest hit. But general business, let me see. While the greatest number of data breaches in 2019 occurred in the business sector, 644, making up 44% of all 2019 breaches. That's low. 644 making up 44%. So these are companies who have publicly stated that they were breached. And that's an interesting discussion too. Well, not necessarily for now, but in the future, how would you define a breach? Because I remember being asked that often. Somebody clicking on a fish and a how far does the intruder or the malware have to get? What does it have to do for us to actually decide and say this was a breach? So, and I think that potentially is an issue that businesses do run into.
I think it would be anything that would affect uptime or affect any sort of business or service of the business.
Well, but
At
you
the
could also
very least,
exfiltrate data and not be able to hit those categories.
right?
You know,
So it really depends on like any breach or any sort of hack. It's case by case.
Yeah.
I mean, exploits are going to work the same way. There might be a different behavior pattern or that's very similar, but they're not gonna. Every company has everything set up a little bit differently.
Yep. And to a fish comes in, a user goes to a site, they put in their user credentials, you flag on it, and you make the user change their password immediately. The attacker still got those credentials. Say it was an admin, who has domain admin just on his regular user account. They don't have separate accounts. They're not using a PAM solution, blah, blah, blah. Is that going to be a breach? Because they did have admin credentials. They couldn't use them because the password was changed immediately. But should that be considered a breach? So
I would say so because if it's not caught and immediately changed, and then you are monitoring and you aren't monitoring that account. So like the stuff that we're hearing about is when that stuff really isn't in place.
So you're saying if they wouldn't have been caught, the event occurred, and say within a specific time range, they were able to change it.
Within that scenario, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a breach.
Or that would be a breach.
Okay.
Like if they caught it, no. If it didn't catch it,
if they didn't catch
it, or they didn't catch it in time, and someone actually got onto that network, because from how I would pose that is, as an attacker, I've already done my OSINT. I know who I need to target and what machine they have access, or they probably will have access to, and I am going to log into that machine or access some part of their network to gain a foothold immediately and have everything all ramped up and ready to go. I'm not going to sit there and try to fat finger my way on whatever terminal that I have and not know what kind of environment I'm going to be getting into.
Yeah.
So, because even like, for instance, Emotet, that stuff's automated. So even if you do just click on something, that's like automated to just propagate.
Mm-hmm.
So at any time that we see Emotet, you could argue I don't know if they're on the level of exfiltrating data yet. I don't think I've seen anything on that. But still.
But it's definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah.
And these are things that companies go through, and you kind of have to tabletop out different scenarios as to what are we going to define as a breach. Like in that case, I know one company that if a user were to enter their credentials and a third party got them, no matter if it was detected or not, they would classify that as a breach. So really, like you said, it depends on the company and kind of what the company's stance is. Obviously, if there's compliance, compliance is going to dictate some of those things. And then over and above compliance, past that, what are you going to say is a breach? So,
right.
But we still have a lot of stuff to get through. So what is up next? Vulnerable stuff. Schleyered.
Yeah, so this I thought was funny. So the name of it was funny because all I could hear when I say it is the Halo announcer going Schleyered. So 10% of all Macs Schleyered malware cocktail served. So many people
at work I'm dealing with it. Somebody's got Slayer on there.
Seriously, okay. Yeah. So 10% of Macs, and Trez is dealing with one. So many people think that that malware only targets Windows and that Macs are safe. I've been saying this for years. No, but a new report shows how a single Apple malware called Schlayer has attacked over 10% of all Apple computers monitored by an antivirus company. Yikes. We already covered why it's probably got around it. These websites have become so common that Kaspersky, I butchered that, reports that 1 in 10 or 10% of Apple computers have been attacked by the Slayer Trojan. And it essentially is a malicious file download that I think an ad or something.
Malvertising.
Anyway, so yeah, malvertising, or it asks you to download this app player, and then it does a couple of other fun things. Go read the actual report since we have a lot to get through. I just thought it was funny that, okay, it's 2020. And
so first it installs a malicious browser extension into
Mm.
Safari. Similar to IE and Edge, does anybody running a Mac actually use Safari?
It's like the
Only
same
really
amount
as
of people that
multiple
run
browsers,
IE.
but I also have Chrome.
Yeah, Chrome, Firefox. Yeah. Like, I don't know anyone who actually uses Safari.
Your typical Mac user probably is. There's probably a more people probably use Chrome, but on Mac, but it's primarily Safari and Chrome.
Huh. That's.
I mean, it's the thing that's Macs are initially sold as something that'll just work with whatever you need it to do. In most basic user respects, unlike what your typical user is going to do on a computer. So,
yeah, I mean, because my preference is to have something that's cross-platform. Either Firefox, Chrome, Brave. Something where I'm going to have the same environment everywhere. Not necessarily, because I don't share like browser bookmarks or nothing between systems. They're going to be similar between systems, but still, I'm doing the exact same thing every time, and I don't have to figure new things out.
Right.
I'm old. That's what us old people do. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Well, now I'm on your podcast. Next up in vulnerable stuff, we've got a critical BSD vulnerability. Sadly, we don't have the BSD bandit here to explain what's going on.
Whoa, people. So there's a critical vulnerability in BSD.
Oh, boy.
No, you forgot. Woohoo! Or yeehaw. Wait, what's he do? Yep. Yep. There we go. Yep.
All right.
It's anyway, super upbeat.
Anyway,
right.
A critical remote code execution bug is fixed now in OpenBSD's SMTP server. So a critical vulnerability was found in the free OpenSMTPD email server present in many Unix-based systems that can be exploited to run shell commands with root privileges. So it's not even a code execution. It is elevated code execution. It is part of OpenBSD project and has a portable version that's compatible with other operating systems such as FreeBSD, NetBSD, macOS, Linux. That includes Alpine, Arch, Debian, Fedora, CentOS. So go patch your stuff, please, because this will get you in the headers. So it goes into it a little bit on how to do it. Essentially what it does is it's doing a header injection with the mail from actually being a command here. So in this case, it's just running a sleep command here to the root, and it'll run that, which is not fun. So you could essentially do that from anywhere. It is a local and external vulnerability, so be aware of that.
Nice.
So there's a patch out for it, which is why we're talking about it.
There you go.
All right, and we covered this last week a little bit.
Not with Iowa. We were talking
Exactly.
about Seattle, Washington area.
So this came across my feed from a couple of guys that I know are OAuth's guys, and this is a link that has a paywall. So I'm sorry about that for people that can't see it. Can I just? Nope.
Install the unpaywall.
Nah, give me a second. We'll do it old school.
Wait, this says live stream failed to start. When? Wait, is it still going?
We've been talking to ourselves.
Yeah, we're still going.
No, it's still going. All right, there it is. And let's see what happens if I delete. Nope, it's still there. Okay. Essentially, what is going to happen is Iowa has a similar idea or similar app to what we discussed in Seattle last week, where it'll be a voting app that will be on your phone or in a mobile app. So this is raising some security concerns in Iowa, and yeah, I figured I'd throw that in there because we're going to be seeing a lot of this. And if it comes down to, hey, there's like 1 million extra people voting in Iowa, or Seattle or any other jurisdiction that has this. Thanks, Israel, for that second link there.
I want to get a copy of that app and just kind of run it through Burp or something.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, we kind of discussed this last week where I was saying you could just throw up promiscuous mode in Burp and grab the phone to proxy into your
Yeah,
proxy.
but is this one actually an app? The one we talked about last week, they said was a web app. And they even said open the browser on your phone and go to blah. Well, you can do that anywhere. You don't have to be on a phone. So I'm wondering if this one is actually an app or if it is another website, just like last week.
Yeah, I'm just skimming through this article from NBC to see if I can. Yeah, but apparently this is Iowa and Nevada are looking into this.
Oh, Microsoft developed the app.
Oh boy.
Used at that year's caucus by both parties. Interesting. Mostly.
How much you want to bet it's on that same system that I tweeted at Microsoft Azure?
That'd be funny.
I should check that again to see if they fixed that.
Your buckets are leaking.
No, that was your containers they're showing.
Oh, yeah. I was close.
Close enough. I mean, it's essentially the same concept. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for vulnerable stuff this week. There are a couple other things that I wanted to throw in there that aren't necessarily vulnerable or breaches, but actual things that are happening in the InfoSec world. So I threw those in after the weekly bulletin, which we are now going to do a discuss.
Not too much. Weekly bulletin, we have it on there every week. Keep your eyes on it, on a weekly basis. Align your patching with the criticals, for out of band, and then for non-critical and high, put it into your normal patching rotation and make sure you have a normal patching rotation. But definitely check it out so that you're aware of it.
It looks like anyone that has a mobile device with a Snapdragon processor, looks like there's going to be a couple of issues.
Oh, if anybody new to the cast, we always put the show notes in the description.
Yes.
So tons of links there.
Since I didn't say it. Okay, next up, Hack Back. Or is that thing?
So yeah, my coworkers and I were talking about this a little bit today. It was at the end of the day, and we just saw this. So apparently, Representatives Tom Graves, who is the Republican of Georgia, and Kristen
He's
Sinema.
the Republican of Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
The
Republican of Georgia.
Yeah, sure.
Like
and the
like
Democratic
a governor?
Yeah, and a Democrat from Arizona, Kristen Sinema, introduced a bill Friday that would allow hacking victims to, quote, hack back when attacked. The Active Cyber Defense Certainty Act allows individuals and companies to hack hackers if the goal is to disrupt, monitor, or attribute the attack or destroy stolen files. Quote,
How
while
are you going to hack back if
I'm just gonna fake a PCAP.
if you haven't
Yeah.
attributed?
Yeah, so that's the thing that is kind of, and I've been doing a bit more into like the threat hunting and more into like the attribution side of things, where you're actually looking to see, all right, is this actually the person that is using this, or is this something else that
Somebody
is
who's
someone?
been
Well,
hacked. and-
Fuck it.
pivoting.
Fuck it. I'm tunneling through the Chinese government and I'm hacking a bunch of motherfuckers and I dare them to try to.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute. Is that-
Jack's just gonna inadvertently start World War X.
I'm just saying. I mean, you know, you could.
That's the name of the botnet, and it'll always echo out X gonna give it to you.
I'm just gonna fake a PCAP and make it look like somebody was trying to hack me and then hack them. You know, nobody will know. I have my plausible deniability there.
Yeah, did they put any language of this bill like in there, like putting
So-
kind of?
The issue is the bill has been put out there, or bill has been proposed. I, at least before the show, couldn't find the actual bill itself that's been released to the public yet.
Yeah.
It's either because it hasn't been, or my OSINT was failing me today. But from what it sounds like, they're trying to do a ramp up of what we consider to be active defense, where we're actually looking to see, like, all right, where's all this? Where's an attacker in the network? Where are they coming from? Where do they go?
Where did you come from? Where'd you go, Cotton Eye Joe?
Exactly. So many of us, like, and this has kind of been a split issue, at least as long as I've followed InfoSec. It's pretty like 50-50 either way on whether or not InfoSec professionals like this or not. And including Rapid 7, I guess, or at least their VP, who says there's a very pragmatic question of, can you reasonably expect someone to go guns blazing and not do harm to the wrong computers? Which is the adage that I've always heard of. Do you really want to go and hack Granny after you get hit? Like, it could be someone else's jump box that they compromised before, but I don't know. I see a lot of companies saying this and then turning around and saying hack back as a service, where they go and actually find and do all the attribution work to see if they can find something tangible, and if they do, then they hack. But
like I said, the Chinese government IP range is now going to be my entire jump box. Get at me, bro.
X gonna give it to you.
I threw a link in there. I think this is it. What did it say when it was originally?
This would have been like a couple days ago. So this was
You know, because they'll have bills that they submit and then it kind of dies out, and then they'll bring them back up. So I threw the link in there.
Yeah, so
it looks like it was originally submitted though back in like 2017.
Yeah, so it was originally submitted then. I don't know why this came back up on our feeds then. So I think people were talking about it again. So it might be getting rapidly closer to.
Yeah, may be getting some new backing and new light.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can see something like that dying in committee rather quickly, because I mean that's where bills go to die, is in committee.
But yeah, threw that up there. So
This is a short bill.
Yeah, and from what I saw, there weren't many stipulations surrounding it, or guidelines, or anything.
Yeah, I think it was introduced, and now they're trying to push for it again.
It's going to die in committee because I mean, after all,
Yeah,
because after all, the next thing you know, it you got your competitors hacking you back because they think you hacked them, and so on and so forth. And it's like you both are blasting packets at each other.
I say we just hack everybody. It'll be fun. Hack all the things.
drink all the booze, hack all the things.
Hack all the things. Okay, next up, we got Cappy.
Mm-hmm. So I actually got a little bit of happy face after seeing this.
Did you see the percentage though?
Yeah, 1%.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, we got him. It's a start.
Yeah.
So the first they're calling this the first mage cart hackers caught that have infected hundreds of web stores, which only covers about 1% of all mage cart incidences. So to just go over for those that don't know what mage cart attacks are, essentially it is credit card skimming via injected JavaScript into payment processing logic inside of websites. So like Amazon. So the biggest one that got hit was Newegg a couple of years ago, where they had something called, it was a framework called MageCart that was susceptible to a JavaScript injection vulnerability that they would just put a sniffer on there that would send out information, credit card information and payment details. So I forget which government got them.
Indonesia.
So Operation Night Fury. Night Fury. Collaboration between the Indonesian Cyber Police, the Interpol's ASEAN desk, and Singapore-based cybersecurity company Group IB through its APAC cyber investigations team led
EIO.
Oh my gosh, led to the arrest of 3 individuals on December 20th. This law enforcement operation received the name Night Fury. The identity of the 3, which are likely part of a larger group, is revealed only by their initials of AND, K, and NA, and are aged 27, 35, and 23. One of them admitted on camera that he had been injecting web skimmers into compromised shops since 2017, and that the targets were chosen at random. They also list out a couple of different things here, but between the investigations revealed that the 3 suspects used the pilfered card information to buy goods, electronics, luxury items, that they would then try to sell before or below their market value, and this made them a profit of up to $30,000 or 300 to 400 million rupees. I think that's what that one is. I don't know all the currencies.
Yeah,
but
rupees is India.
Yeah. So RP, is that ruples?
Rupees.
Is it rupees?
Yeah, it's definitely rupees.
RUPIAH.
Yeah. Okay.
So how you spell rupees?
Sure.
RUPIAH.
No, that's rupee. That's what country is it? Indonesia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think they use rupee is India, not Indonesia.
Yeah.
So saw this. I thought it was really cool. They also go into a dive a little bit more on what these guys were actually doing and how they were doing it, because I think they got a little bit of their code on how this worked. So yeah. So we got 1%. So it's a start, but that's 3 years later. There's going to be a lot of people that are either going to just drop everything that they have now, or they're going to just walk away, or both.
Well, not really. If they're not connected to these to the people that were caught.
Yeah, but also got to remember that if they're part of a group, there's some communication channels that might have been there, so there might have been some forensic work done there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said,
communication channels are. Jack.
I mean, if you're associated with them, yeah, I would start skying up, or anything that you've used that's connected to them, yeah, it starts disappearing.
All of a sudden, start seeing every IRC server just
And Discord. Don't forget Discord.
half of all Discord channels just die. Suddenly, Discord loses 50% of their stock value as all of Mage Cart users exfiltrate.
Nice.
But yeah,
Okay. Other stuff. And we actually have a second other stuff just because I had some things that I wanted to make sure we talked about briefly. But first up, pandemics and effects on security. Who threw
Well,
this on?
I've been tracking a lot of stuff on the coronavirus, and got a good link in here for a tracker saying what kind of outbreaks we've had. Most of the stuff is in mainland China. Also, Hexenhammer 666 on YouTube does every morning does like an update on the coronavirus, which is interesting. But I started thinking about it from a security standpoint, and the three main points I can think of are redundancy of duties. Like, for instance, you have someone out sick or call in sick. How do you handle that particular task? Business trips, which makes teleconferencing seem like a great thing. And matter of fact, most meetings I've actually been to in person really could be handled via a teleconference. And supply chain, like if a large percentage of that particular part of the world is having huge problems with people not being able to make it to work, or people not being able to ship things in, or export restrictions, how does that affect things? So talk about those three items, and I think Frank or someone else added a particular incident where the coronavirus has affected Apple.
Yeah, it's delaying the launch of their new iPhone, which it technically goes under supply chain, I think. So it's
Oh, and before anybody worries about this particular aspect, my understanding, you don't have to worry about getting the coronavirus from items,
yeah.
because my understanding, viruses die off fairly quickly outside of a host body.
Now that you mentioned that, I want to bring up something else I put in here. The second one under dickhead scams. There's a fact check here with the coronavirus, and in Australia, a whole bunch of sites, like people on Facebook type shit, are going around and saying that all these Chinese products are infected with the coronavirus, and the local authorities then have to refute all these hoaxes. Like, they're saying that Red Bull is infected with the coronavirus, and yeah, and people are believing it because it's stupid. They made a fake infographic that's supposed to be from one of the bureaus that deals with this shit in Australia, and they made it look like the bureau was saying that all these products are infected, and it was a fake infographic, and it's just dick. And it's saying like rice, certain types of rice, fortune cookies, onion rings, peach iced tea, Yalker milk drink, Chinese Red Bulls. All this shit is infected with the coronavirus. Yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to just bring up. Well, since we were there anyway.
I did see one thing that I really like. Can we just rename it the Kung Flu?
Actually, Olive also mentioned this on Twitter, and I put the term Winnie the Flu because the leader kind of looks like Winnie the Pooh.
I like that. Oh, what was the one thing I saw? Oh, yeah, the coronavirus gets to the U.S. faster than any Wish package ever has.
Last I checked, though, I only saw 5 confirmed cases in the United States.
No,
yeah,
it's 100
I'm seeing
right
6. I'm seeing 6, and I know of another one that isn't on here.
They're investigating the possibilities of like 100, but there's only I think like 6 that are confirmed.
6 confirmed, and I know there's another one that there's one person in Kansas that has it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Canada. I was going to say no, that's not the U.S.
North America.
Not yet. We haven't
Not
taken it
yet.
over yet.
Yeah.
So I'm actually seeing 4 in the U.S., 1 in Canada.
Oh, maybe I was referring to Canada.
2 in Canada. 2 in Canada. Man, zoom out far enough, and Toronto just It's in the O of Toronto.
Yeah, but if we annex Canada, do we really want the French speakers? Really? I mean,
I can speak really, really, really rough French, so.
We.
No,
between Damage, Laska to Promenade.
I mean, if we're going to annex somebody, I think it should be like the Bahamas, you know? Make it somewhere nice where it's
We already
tropical.
have it.
I don't think so.
It hasn't hit the Bahamas.
Why you want the Bahamian Navy?
Heck yeah.
So do you want the special jet ski forces?
Oh, I think FedEx and UPS scams. Do you have a link for that?
No.
Okay. I don't know what it's about then, really.
I don't know where I put that link. I'm sorry. We can just take that out.
Okay, so there are no FedEx and UPS scams. At least not this week.
Well, there are. The article, if I remember correctly, was just the shipping. People get a text message saying that your package is delayed. You click the link, it installs malware.
I hate when my package is delayed.
All right, I'll just take the first thing I find in Google because that's just.
It's the malware.
It's the actual fish.
Live streaming has stopped.
That's awesome.
By the way, for those of you that have never heard Jitsi before, that is the sound that it makes when we kill live streaming, and we actually lost connection apparently for a while during the stream. It's
So
fun.
y'all remember that Wawa attack?
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Well, we're talking about how those customer records are going to just end up on the darknet.
Mhm.
And guess what? They did.
Darknet.
Darknet, dark web, dark.
Yeah, what
Vader.
is the name of that dump? Because they're up for sale, but it's with a named dump.
Big Bad
Yes.
Big Bada Boom 3.
Yes. I think that's it, right? That sounds right.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
You got the leak?
I'm looking at the screenshot.
No, well, that's different.
Yeah.
You should
wrong
download the leak. and
wrong
then-
person to ask for that leak.
Yeah.
I don't think I have it yet. Because I think it actually is being put up for sale.
I think it's brand new 30 nationwide breeze, $30 million, perfect pure fresh TR2 and TR1 dumps, 40 plus US states, 31,000 different. I can't read those pixels. More than 114 pieces of exotic bins. Yeah, so this is all credit card info.
Yeah, I don't think that's out yet.
It's not going to have all the tracks, though. It's just going to be enough to do it like on a web store, but you can't use it to clone the card.
Yeah, but I
You
mean,
need like tracks 1 and 2 to clone, right?
yeah, it's got tracks 1 and 2. Just they have it backwards for some reason.
And track 3 is rarely used on a regular credit card.
Yeah. So I think unless if it's an NFC card, I think that's when they're starting to use that. But then if it's chip and pin, you're not going to be able to. Yeah, no. But so it looks like they got their hands on it, or ZDNet got their hands on it. So there is a
Well, probably enough for them to validate information.
Did include
Because after all, that's the best form of advertising you can get.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So despite Wawa's claims, the card dump did include CVV2 numbers, which is the numbers on the back of the card. Ooh.
Why were they recording those? You don't even need those to do a payment process.
Is Wawa a brick and mortar shop?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
You
grocery
just swipe
chain.
it.
Yeah, grocery.
Yeah,
Do they
why would they?
have a web interface?
Online? Do they have like online shipping?
I have no idea. They might, because there's a lot of ones that do like pickup and such, like Kroger does, Walmart does, etc. So
Right.
you pay online for those.
Beverages.
Anyway, that's that. And the last thing I put on here was the SolarWinds 0 Day, which was like last week.
Oh, they have their own Wawa credit card too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and a
Wawa.
like a fleet card for semi truck people. Yeah, 2 different fleet cards. So that would be interesting to see that information and see if those are also included. Okay, sorry. SolarWinds 0 Day.
So this 0 Day is in N Central. It's a tool, and just 1 second here.
And there is a mitigation, it looks like.
Yeah, they have a mitigation out for it. So the flaw is known as a dumpster diver, and it's an interesting name for a flaw. The exploit was supposedly never used by malicious actors to compromise any partner accounts. SolarWinds told the CRN at the time that there was no proof of concept. Following internal protocol, they monitored their findings and began working on a patch. The patch is being deployed immediately. I think there was a 1 day for this at some point, even though they say there was no proof of concept. I think I saw something about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, they claim as of January 24th that there are no known exploits for the vulnerability. I would want to Google that a little bit, but so if someone got domain admin on my account, no, on my system rather, that would be a complete disaster. He said, I could lock all my people out of their workstations and anything that's connected. Says the systems administrator they interviewed for this. Because obviously the RMM tool is installed on everything. So, and it runs under the rights of the user that's logged in. So,
There you go.
DA payday.
Exactly. That's that. Bishop Fox released 8 0-day vulnerabilities relating to ConnectWise RMM tool. So that was for ConnectWise control. You can use them to do an attack chain and eventually seize computers across MSPs. 75% of them are supposedly patched, but I can tell you from experience, nobody patches this in production unless they have to, which they rarely do anyway.
Yep.
So Bishop Fox told the FBI that it found these exploits for some reason.
What?
Yeah. They consulted with the FBI. It is said these exploits could have been behind the ransomware attack last summer that crippled sites in 22 cities across Texas. At the time, ConnectWise told CRN an on-premise version of the tool ConnectWise Control was used to carry out the attack. I've used ConnectWise Control. You download a little executable and you have direct access into the system.
As root.
As root, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's on a Linux box, as root. If it's on Windows box, you have system access. So, but it's like an RDP window, and you just go in and use it. I know it doesn't run into the local user because it works. It's persistent out when you log off. You can still log into another system
Oh, is that the
account.
the old Dameware?
No.
Whenever they acquired Dameware for their remote access capability? Oh, okay.
I've used Dameware too. Dameware has its own client that you use to connect to other computers.
So SolarWinds has kept Dameware separate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because they acquired them years ago and increased the price by like 4 times as soon as the acquisition occurred.
I know a certain county in New York that still uses Dameware and decides to not pay for any of the new licensing stuff. They just use the old version of the product and run the system on every machine.
Wow.
So that's not a security risk.
Not at all.
What's mitigation of risk? I've got all the risk.
Exactly.
Is that when he? Or no. Oh, sorry. I get congregate and mitigate mixed up. Jeez.
So SolarWinds patched the new one, but they didn't patch the old one, and the old one was used for ransomware. So that's fun.
Fun.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's all I've put in there.
And now we have 3 things and extra other stuff because I want to make sure to hit these.
New
this
Kali.
week.
It doesn't
Yes.
run as root anymore. Yay!
Correct. Which I'm a little disappointed about. Because I will run Kali barebone system. I like running as root, but we'll see once I update here, which I have not yet.
I have a gripe with Kali because they released NetHunter, but you need an old ass phone or tablet to use NetHunter. None of the new phones are supported. It's like
Hey,
everything's 4
guess
years
what?
old.
So,
You can run it as non-root, but it sucks.
but that's also newer. Running it as non-root, and they're utilizing Termux to be able to do that, I believe.
T-Mux?
Or yeah, Tmux. But yeah, so Frank said it right. Non-root by default now. Root Tor is no more. Oh, look at that! I like that. It's now going to be Kali Kali for default login. Obviously, if you use this in any way, go in and update your passwords. Do not leave it Kali Kali.
Or don't, and you'll get this weird desktop background.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time I was connected to Hack the Box VPN, trying to hack a box, and I walked away for a good hour, and I'd left my Kali VM connected, and I had a shell into the system at this point, and somebody used that shell somehow to traverse into my system, and they changed my password.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I came back and couldn't get into my fucking VM.
Save state.
Yeah, nice.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I never touch Hack the Box unless it is a VM. I won't use that. Touch it with my bare bones stuff. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, but yes, lessons learned.
Change the default password. Yeah.
I'm gonna go and just hit up Shodan real quick and find an IP list real fast. All right, 2020.1. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
so
About 4,000 hosts. All right, go log in at station to all of them real quick.
Improvements to theme and Kali Undercover. So their fall release included the new thing Undercover, where you can change your desktop to emulate and look like a regular Windows desktop. And the link we have on here, it's looking even nicer. So, with the window, where is that? Yeah. So the icons look like Windows icons now for IE or Edge and Notepad and everything. So who wanted to say something?
Yeah, just wanted to tell anybody who's running Kali in VirtualBox, just disable 3D graphics, and it will look a lot smoother, and it won't have screen tear, and won't have this jitter problem where like the top of the screen just gets all yucky.
Yeah.
Disable that, and you're good with 2D graphics. And
I wonder if my image would still work that I made for Kali.
Yes.
No, not the not a virtual machine image. It's my only contribution to the Docker open source community.
Oh,
I created a 30 gig image. Hey, it takes down a lot from what I needed before, but there's a top 10 version which has Metasploit installed, and it's
I can't imagine Metasploit still working. When did you create that image?
Oh god,
I mean, because their repositories were updated last year, so
2018.
yeah. I mean, some of the stuff will probably still work, but
It's still going to their GitHub and cloning it. So
yeah, that's
I'm
interesting.
cloning and running everything. So it's not like, or no, I'm just doing an apt install. So it should
Okay.
still
So,
work.
wait, you're the one who made the Kali image for Docker?
One of,
Because I actually
Like-
ran into a customer got compromised on their NAS, and it was a pretty powerful NAS. And they got into it, and they went to the Docker configuration, and they pulled down a Kali image and used that to pivot into the rest of the network.
I don't know. Let me go to Docker Hub real quick.
Nice.
Docker Hub. Give me a minute.
Yeah, while you're looking that up, I did want to mention too, one of the neat things they're doing now. So their base image, whenever you're installing it, you're no longer just left with like GNOME or anything. You can select which desktop interface you want to have. So they have XFCE, GNOME, KDE, LXDE, and MATE. So you can select
cinnamon?
which.
No cinnamon?
No cinnamon. But out of those, you can still at least select what what you prefer and be able to install that immediately right off the bat.
So this is what I've got for downloads, and I believe most of these are mine, but these are the only things I made. I just took them because the bare bones Kali image doesn't have the actual packages installed. So there's a bunch of meta packages that you can install, just like a set of them. So like if you just want all the RFID or all the Kali GPU stuff or the web stuff, forensics, wireless. So there's a couple of those. And then there's the top 10. I actually didn't put out the full version because it was 30 gigs, like I said. But yeah, you could pull these down. I don't know. I wrote them like 2 years ago. I don't even know if they work, to be perfectly honest. I don't think there's any sort of pass at all.
Nice.
Builds. Yeah, I haven't even uploaded the Docker files, so I was trying to finish a paper.
Oh, paper. Yeah, excuses.
No, seriously, I was trying to finish a paper.
Okay, next up, turn off your Facebook activity. So Facebook interacts with
Everybody.
everything,
Website you've ever been
everybody,
to.
utilizing cookies, apps on your phone, blah, blah, blah. So you can go to the link we posted in the notes. You can go in there, clear your existing history, click on manage future activity, and you can turn it off. So they're still going to be doing some stuff, I'm sure, but at least you can take a proactive step in limiting at least a little bit of what they're accessing. So whenever you are on, your browser and you type in shoes, guess what? Facebook is going to start showing you ads for shoes, and just on and on. So you can help reduce some of that annoyance. And then the last thing on here.
Just started looking at what I've got. It's like, ooh, yikes. Everyone that had a Facebook widget that I've pen tested.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And last up, Proton VPN is open sourcing all their apps. And I was actually a little surprised they don't have an app for Linux, it appears.
They will soon now that they've got all the open source shit out there.
Android.
Yeah, they have
so-
Android, iOS, macOS, and Windows. It's like, huh. But yeah,
Don't they support open VPN files though? So you just
Yeah, so it'd just be Open Connect.
Yeah. But the link we posted has the Git repos for all their different builds.
Time to go find an O-Day.
Yep. If you want to do 0 days, make your own custom app using theirs as the base, have at it.
All right, let's take a look here. I still thought it was super. Just look at the config file. Found a no-day. That's what I thought was funny when that Donald Trump dating site got hacked. And Trez found that, and I took 1 second to look at it. I'm like, I know exactly what this is. I know what this is. I've seen it happen. I was on a forum post telling them that they got hacked a while ago. Not them specifically, but like, God, like 5 years ago now. I was like,
been a while.
I'm like, you idiot! You had debug mode on. That shows you the full stack trace. What are you doing?
Can you Shodan search for sites that are in debug mode?
I could Google Dork. I used to be able to Google Dork it. You have to. So here, a little bit of live OSINT.
We'll put it up live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I'm doing it
Come
now.
on.
He's hiding the porn.
Yeah.
Clickety clackety clickety clackety.
So now,
So Israel, why do you have a condom on your shirt with a bug in it?
Condom on my shirt. That's a wasp. It's a wasp. Good night.
you used to be able to do this. I remember Google Dorking it a while ago, but
You're still not sharing your screen, so you could be
Yeah, I
telling
am.
the truth or
No, you're
lying
not.
to us right now.
I am sharing my screen right now.
Well, unshare
We're
it and share
seeing
it
your
again.
icon. Now I see
Oh my
Frank.
I see Israel.
There's Frank again.
I'm here. Oh, now
What
I
about
see
now?
Caprico.
Okay, I swear I was sharing, but you used to be able to just do like this or something, and
You're
it would
not
show
sharing.
it. What? Yeah.
Yeah, and YouTube doesn't see you sharing either.
What the heck? All right, Jitsi, you're just being done.
Caprico, sharing is caring.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying for sure. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. Anyway, if you just like searched for like .env in Google, you'd find a bunch of public indexable things there. All right, Google, shut up. My phone just turned on. And yeah, you would be able to see like everyone's database passwords and stuff like that, because those would be in the config file too. But I think Google is blocking that search since there's a lot of sites that use that framework, as it's the #1 PHP framework right now.
Can y'all see my screen when I share it?
Nope. I don't know what's going on.
Why are you sharing right now?
I shared my screen. It should be. Whoa.
Nope, still seeing you.
Phone just blew up in his face.
Whoa! No, I clicked on my icon of me sharing, and I got the infinite windows thing going on where it's the screen. It's pretty cool, actually. Can't believe you guys can't see it, even though I see myself sharing. That's weird.
That's the exact thing that's happening to me. So I don't know, guys.
Maybe try sharing just one window instead of.
That's what I was doing. Let me try just sharing. Wow.
Try sharing the window that's got your passwords on it.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, please show me your text file with all your passwords in it.
How did you know that I had one of those?
It's not a text file. It's
Watch the thumbnail be me going like this now.
You're not sharing your picture or your video either, so I don't know what your thumbnail looks like.
Oh my god!
I'm trying to share too, and it's not going through. It's really weird.
All right.
Do you guys still see me?
We have to put in a bug report with Jitsi.
What the hell?
Nathan said screens all the way down. Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you see that?
Nope. I'm going to try doing a refresh.
Vroom. And here's Caprico. Hey, we see Caprico now.
Yeah, but what I was doing while I was saying, how did you know that I have one of those? Was like, oh, watch this be like the thumbnail now.
I bet you could share your screen now too.
Yeah, probably, but I explained it, so. And it didn't work. My old thing didn't work. So I got to play around with it a bit more. I might tweet it.
When you guys click on my icon, do you see just my icon, or do you see my screen?
Just your icon.
Yeah, your avatar.
Lame.
Right now, I don't see anything. I just see Trez and a T as the emblem. But a second ago, when I was looking at the live stream preview or post view, as it were, it just show your actual avatar, but it doesn't show your screen.
Correct.
That's weird.
I don't know what's happening. Well, anyways, I kind of want to.
Berries.
Yeah, right. Google. This is why we can't have nice things. Google
That's right.
ended your process.
Yeah, even searching, like ENV on DuckDuckGo still filters out the majority of stuff,
Yeah, so I think
which is annoying.
just .env. So if you do in URL : .env, you'll find. You used to be able to find a bunch of them. Granted, this was like 5 years ago when I first started doing this. Just to see what was going on. You can still Google dork around for like SQL injectable sites, like just throwing like 1 = 1 and seeing a bunch of stuff pop up.
I found one called Bible History last time I was playing with that. It was great.
I know that one.
It was already hacked to shit.
Yeah, I know that one. I know that one.
I wanted to tell you guys. I got a new TV in my apartment here, and I don't have cable, so I ghetto rigged some cable with a Roku, and IP Torrents has like this thing now where they give you free streaming M3U files that you can put in VLC, and it'll play a whole bunch of cable channels. But I couldn't get that to work in Plex because Plex removed M3U support, so I installed MB and imported my M3U file, and now on my TV I can watch all the different channels.
Nice.
Hacked.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's awesome, actually. Living on the edge.
You can't help yourself, it's fun!
Wow. See, this is why this is a podcast, not like a singing competition.
They can be both.
No. After that, it is definitely cannot be both.
Tune in next week for our Irongeek cast, the musical. Breach.
Aiden sings the tunes from Paint Your Wagon.
I'm thinking more like the Green Giant song, and Caprico can be the Green Giant.
Hardy har. Thought you didn't want me to stand up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He'll be the sitting Green Giant.
Not the first time I've been called that before.
The sitting Green Giant?
No, just Green Giant. Or Giant.
Well, I call you that on a fairly consistent basis.
Newest one was Jedi. That was fun.
That actually, whenever I oversaw phone systems a long time ago,
in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, that was my extension at work. 4.3. Shoot, what was it?
4.3.3. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been
4.3.3.4.
4.3.3.4. That may have been it.
Yeah,
but yeah, my extension used to be Jedi. So
nice.
Yeah.
No, I got called that by a client while I was on an IR. That was funny. The whole place started calling me Jedi. I was like, oh, okay. This is weird. Please
Padawan.
stop. Yeah, basically. The Jedi is talking to you through the force of this bridge. My senior guy is over here.
I had somebody today call me computer guy or the computer voice. Yeah, that was interesting.
Voice of the internet.
Yes, just this mystical voice appearing from his computer system.
Hello, mystical voice. At least you weren't coming from his Nest camera.
Yet.
Exactly. Okay. JTP said IT is complicated. Sometimes if it's designed, the design is the most complicated part. If it's designed correctly, it can be uncomplicated.
I would also say implemented correctly on top of it.
Well, yeah.
And don't forget about monitored.
So we're already complicating a simple statement. So, ergo, complicated. IT, yes.
Sometimes.
Complicated IT, yes.
But you-
I can, yes.
Does anybody got anything else for the cast?
Heck, you are.
Probably not for this week.
In that case, we're going to go offline because we'll continue to hang out. But everybody, hope to catch you next week. You all have a good evening.
Later, everybody. Have a good one.